Hello, my name's Vicky and I work on the apprenticeship team at South Essex College. Today I am joined with Mark Bentley, who is the Operation Director for the Logistics team. We're going to be talking about all of the logistics stuff regarding the apprenticeships, and if you're a learner looking to get into this sector, how we can help you. So hi Mark, you okay?
Absolutely fine, thank you for having us here today, really appreciate it.
Good. I've got a few questions that I know that myself and some of the learners who will be watching this would like to know. So first of all, can you tell us about your role within South Essex College?
Yeah, my role is I'm in a very fortunate position to head up the logistics team, the apprenticeship elements of that, and also for commercial training development for logistics. So basically I kind of work between a number of different stakeholders, some are learners, which is quite enjoyable, you really get down to people, the reason why we're here, and also organisations to find out what they want in terms of apprenticeships and the kind of people they want to bring into their business. So I kind of work in those, particularly in those kind of two fields.
Perfect. And what apprenticeships do we have in the logistics field?
We have quite a number of apprenticeships, and we like to think that we cover the majority of bases that will help organisations and equally to help individuals to get into logistics. At the top end, and a very common one for us, it's LGV driving, which is all around getting people from a car licence through to driving the HGVs. Kind of scary stuff in some cases, but there's a big need for that kind of area. So a majority of our learners are LGV learners kind of thing, are apprenticeships. I kind of say now, I think we need to clarify something. When we look at apprenticeships, and I think there's this traditional notion that we talk about young people, well, I thought an interesting point to say that I think it was last year, I think the oldest apprentice on record was in his 60s. And I think that's phenomenal. And I think when we look at 16, 18-year-olds and then we look at somebody in their 60s, it goes to show that apprenticeships are kind of for everyone, they're inclusive. So there's a big gap we've got there that we can actually find something basically for everyone. And that's why I start at the point of LGV, because clearly 16, 17-year-olds are not going to go on those programmes, but certainly more mature people who potentially want to go into that industry, there's going to be opportunities. So that's a very common one for us, without doubt. When you look at where we are and we look at logistics, there's warehousing and storage. Again, we have a level 2 apprenticeship for warehouse and storage, so that's something radically different from driving, but yet a key area within the logistics process. And that goes up to level 3. And then we can go on to traffic office, which is more specialist and so on. So we feel from what we call in logistics, let's say trucks and sheds, we cover all those basics. And it's easy to remember. If you can remember trucks and sheds, there's quite a lot of job roles in there. Yeah. And I think where I come to is, I think the logistics apprenticeships that we offer here at the college cover all those key bases. But equally, I would have to say we have ambition. And our ambition is to look in some of the areas that are not necessarily well represented in the apprenticeship field for logistics. Supply chain professionals one, and supply chain practitioner, which is very, very technical stuff. Yeah. But we're there, we are kind of looking to say to the industry, come and get us, because we'd like to get young people particularly, but anyone, as I've just said, because there's going to be some fantastic changes moving forward, and we're going to get people that are displaced or want to do something in that particular field. So the stuff that we offer here is quite substantial for anyone that wants to get into logistics.
And I think as well, just so that the learners know, being able to have that passion and idea to become an LGV driver, as you've rightly said, if they've come out of school and they've just finished their GCSEs, they're not going to be old enough to drive. But doing a apprenticeship in traffic office, it's the back side of it to then see what a driver would be learning, so they would have the communication with the drivers, the understanding, or working in a warehouse. How do you think that helps the learner, the progression route? How is that helping the learner as well?
I think from progression routes, it's a very good point, and I like the idea of progression routes, because what we find, the most successful people, I'm going to say successful, I'm talking at managerial level and an executive level, and I need to stress that. If you kind of dig into the industry, you will be quite surprised. The people at the top end of these organisations and driving change, and leading change, kind of say now they have actually in some cases come from right at these very what I will call seed apprenticeships. They have been drivers, they have worked in warehouses, they have driven forklift trucks, all the bottom end low skill stuff, And can I say now, they are the best leaders and because they understand the business, they took that forward and they've moved. So we look at some of the lower level skills that we can learn and some of the low level skill jobs within logistics. I can assure you now, they are the platform for some very, very successful careers. And it really, as you said, it gives an understanding of what's going on the ground, what some of these actual job roles entail. Because when you're at the top end of the business, you've got to understand that. And the best leaders within this industry have come from that kind of platform.
Yeah, perfect. Which organisations within the sector does your department work with?
We're very fortunate over the last 6 years or so. We've connected and engaged and added a lot of value, I think, to a number of companies. The jewel in the crown, as we call it, is Tesco. We've worked for Tesco now for some 3 years, possibly 4 years. And we actually operate on a national basis, so we have learners in Bristol, in Peterborough, Southampton, and right up into the Midlands in Hinckley and Daventry. So they are a big one for us, and I've got to say that they are, as I said before, LGV being the biggest programme, and we work for LGV. I will always cite Sir Marco, who are a growing and a very, very successful freight forwarding company here in Essex. But again, they have operations throughout the country. That's another organisation we've worked with. And Gold Star, again, another known brand in the transport sector that we've worked with. And we're very proud to work with those brands, and we're very thankful they've given us the opportunity.
So if a learner was looking to get into this sector, they're really interested in that side of it, transport, all of that, where would they start? How would they go about trying to find themselves an apprenticeship working within the logistics world?
The answer to that is there's 3 strands, basically speaking. Number one, if a learner, as I said before, there's no age situation here, works for a company and would like to be an apprentice or see an opportunity where they could go to the employer and say, I've looked at apprenticeship opportunities and for development for me, but also for this organisation, I think that could be an opportunity, then that could be one strand. They could actually go to the employer and kind of prompt us to actually engage in that conversation. That's one. I think secondly, I think an individual who is interested in apprenticeships for logistics could go out and try and find a company and say, look, I'd like to work for you, I'd like to be an apprentice, and I've got South Essex College that can actually come along and do the training. That's one opportunity. Or if an individual, and this is more young people who don't understand what to do, come and talk to, I would say, Vicky Stratford, who I'm sure will have a lot of idea about logistics, or if not, she knows where to come to. I think that's my kind of challenge out to all those 3. We're here, so we've got those 3 strands. So, I mean, there's 3 opportunities or channels, if you will, to get into logistics and also get into an apprenticeship here at South Essex College.
Yeah, perfect. Also, one other question I have. Why should they choose South Essex College to be the training provider college that they are using? Why wouldn't you go somewhere else?
Well, there is plenty of choice, without doubt, but we've been fortunate here at South Essex College for some years now that we've delivered logistics and supply chain apprenticeships. I'd have to say, as we speak today, there are no other colleges known to us that do logistics and supply chain. So we're kind of out there and being somewhat different. We've differentiated ourselves. That's now, but moving forward, other colleges might come into that space. So right now, as we speak, anybody that is interested, by all means, check other colleges, and you would be right to do so. But I think you'll find that it's South Essex College that will deliver on that. And I think not only that, as I mentioned before, your previous question, some of the contacts that we've got in industry, again, they will benefit from that because we potentially could get them into job roles as well if they haven't any jobs at this stage.
Yeah. And why do you think it is important to have people in your team who are actually industry based?
That's an easy one. That is just simply because we understand business. We understand it. And I can't have people that are, and this is no disrespect, that are just academic. They've got to have worked in that sector and they know what the client wants, what the customer wants, and what their actual clients want. So by having that understanding of the culture of the industry and the sector, then we have an understanding of the culture of the organisation we work with. And I believe that's been probably the key cornerstone in why we've been successful in logistics at this college for apprenticeships.
Yeah, perfect. All right, well, thank you very much, Mark. Hopefully that's answered all of your questions about apprenticeships in logistics. If you have got any other questions that you would like to ask us, please get in touch.